Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Taylor Lloyd. I'm your tech bestie and you know the vibes. The new MacBook Airs with the M4 chips came out and we have the sky blue one here, okay? I've had it for a couple of days, so I've gotten to put it through the ringer a little bit as far as like what I use laptops for day to day. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the specs. We're gonna talk about how much the laptop can handle, if it's perfect for creatives. So hopefully this video answers all those questions and helps you guys make a decision if you're in the market for a new MacBook. Now, before we get too deep into the review, I kind of need to break down how we got here. And that started a few weeks ago when Apple called. They said, hey girl, do you want to come check out all the new products we're releasing in New York? And I said, yeah, duh. They didn't call me, it was an email, but you get the picture. So I packed up, I headed over to New York. I spent about 24 hours in New York, so it was a quick trip. But once I was there, we had the opportunity to have an Apple experience. And basically what happened is we went to an undisclosed location, okay? And we got there, all the new products were laid out. So there were the iPad Airs with the Mac Studios, and then of course the new MacBooks with the M4 chips as well. The space was stunning. It's always so nice to do events like this because we get to speak to Apple experts and we get to ask a bunch of questions and pick things apart. And then that helps us make videos like this for y'all. You know, you get it? It's like an ecosystem. Now, we did a bunch of different demos where they showed us different apps and tools you can use with these products. I'm always so impressed because I feel like they use things sometimes in a different way. We watched them use an iPad Air and an iPhone to do a two-person interview. It was really cool, but we're not here to talk about all the other products. We're here to talk about the M4 Air, so let's get into it. So starting off with the details about the computer I have the 15-inch MacBook Air with the M4 chip. It is in the color sky blue. Yay. Look, actually, I was trying to be on brand. This is the only sky blue shirt I have, so we had to make it work. But the laptop is really pretty. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, but then I got closer to it and I was like, oh. I feel like in some photos, it looks a little silver, but I promise y'all, it is definitely sky blue. I have 16 gigs of RAM. I also have 512 gigs of storage. So 16 gigs of RAM is the baseline. You can't go any lower than that. And then 512 when it comes to storage is like in the middle. Now this laptop comes in two sizes. So there's a 13-inch, which weighs about 2.7 pounds. And then there is a 15-inch, which weighs about 3.3 pounds. Both are extremely light to me. But I think maybe it's like, I'm a girly pop, I always carry 3 cups and 2 bags and you know what I mean? So yeah, very thin, very lightweight. It comes in 4 colors. There's midnight, starlight, silver, and sky blue. Period, I got that right. Now, as far as the price point goes for each laptop, the 13-inch starts at $999, which is $100 cheaper than the MacBook Airs with the M3 chips. So that's a plus. And then the 15-inch starts at $1199. Now the chip, because people are like, what's the big deal? What's the real difference? Why should I care? Coming from someone who has a little bit of experience with the M4 chip versus the M3s, I had the M3 Pro and then I upgraded to the M4 Pro and I noticed a difference. And I feel like it's the same with the MacBook Air. This chip is definitely going to improve your day-to-day tasking, switching through apps, editing, things like that. It's just gonna make things move quicker. The M4 chip features a powerful 10-core CPU up to a 10-core GPU, and it supports up to 32 gigs of memory, which is a big deal. That's a big deal to me on a laptop this small. If you're coming from the M1 model, this laptop is 2 times faster than that. So you would absolutely notice a difference. It's also worth mentioning that the cameras got updated. There's now a 12 megapixel camera with center stage. This is great if you do a lot of video calling or online classes, or you're just using your camera more often on your laptop. These do have Apple Intelligence, so that's gonna give you access to things like the writing tools, which I feel like come in handy for pretty much everyone, creators, professionals, students. You get the updated Siri, which is more integrated into the system experience, and you get the cleanup tool in photos. So in case you use that. Now the battery life is phenomenal. I don't know what they put in these M4s, but my MacBook Pro, the battery life is insane. And I've had this computer for 2-3 days. I haven't charged it once and I've been on it. So they say up to 18 hours. I heard someone say up to 20 hours, but just know the battery life is superb. You also get an upgraded audio experience. The 13-inch MacBook has 4 speakers. The 15-inch has 6 speakers, and they all sound good. And let's just say you're upgrading from an older Intel-based model of a MacBook. They say the performance is 23 times faster. So again, might be a good time to upgrade. Okay, so now that we have covered specs, okay, we got all the specs and the features out the way. I kind of want to talk about my personal use case and answer some of the questions you guys asked. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, because I be yapping over there. But I popped up this little screen that said, hey, any questions about the new M4 MacBook Air? Let me know. And y'all let me know. A lot of them were like repetitive, which is good because then I feel like I can answer everyone's question essentially, because y'all all had the same like 3 to 5 questions. Within those questions, I'll kind of like talk about my use case as well, and hopefully like 2 birds, 1 stone. That's a horrible saying, but rock with me. First question I got over and over and over and over again was editing. How does this computer work with editing? How does it work with Final Cut? How does it work with Lightroom? Can I edit on this? Can I edit my videos on this? And I'm going to try to simplify this as much as I can. Can you edit videos on this? Yes. I even tested it out yesterday. I edited a long form video on it. It can be done. I didn't have many problems. It depends on what you're editing. Because if you are just doing a little vlog and you have basically your main timeline and you're adding a little bit of text and some music, you're fine. You can get that done on here, okay? Would it move a little slower than a MacBook Pro? Yes. But can you get it done on here? Absolutely. When you start talking multiple timelines, visual effects, at that point, you probably are going to have a better experience with the Pro. So I say for this computer, it's really good for light editing. I've edited short form, I've edited long form, and I film. I have pretty big files. All my files are like 4K. So I'm not just like throwing iPhone files in there to test it. I'm testing camera files, and it does get the job done. It can do it. But just note that you're always gonna have a better experience with video editing on a Pro. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. Now, I bought my M3 Air in January for that exact reason, to edit content, but more so when I'm on the go, because I also have a M4 MacBook Pro that is 16 inches. It is pretty maxed out. Okay, it's like 48 gigs of memory, 2 terabytes of storage. It's big, it's a big mama, and it feels like it. So I don't want to carry that around when I'm traveling, which is why I got my M3 Air. And my M3 Air has held me down. Now, there have been some times where I'm dropping files in and it's taken a minute to process. Definitely longer than my MacBook Pro would, but that's to be expected. It is an Air. It was not made to edit Pro videos. So can it be done? Yes. Can you do it? Sure. Are you gonna have a better experience editing video on a Pro? Yes, hopefully that answered your question. Someone asked how smooth does it run, and I think it runs really smooth. I think the MacBook Air is for everyday tasking and productivity and just like daily work, emails, video calls, different communications are phenomenal. I feel like it's an everyday type of computer, especially if you're like a professional or a college student. I do have to mention that at the Apple Experience, they were gaming on this computer as well. So I know it packs a punch. I know it's powerful. I know it can get things done. It definitely runs smooth. I haven't had any issues with that. Someone said compare it to the M4 Pro. I don't think they're comparable. They're just 2 different products. The Pro is the Pro for a reason. It's at a Pro price point, and you're always gonna get more out of Pros. When it comes to performance, the Pro is going to perform better, as it should. So when people ask that, I'm like, it's not apples to apples, you know? That's more like apples to oranges, and that's not a fair comparison. Like I explained earlier, there are people that I would suggest a Pro to versus people that I would suggest an Air to, but they're not really comparable. Someone said, when does it come out? You can go pre-order it right now, today. I'll leave the link below. I mean, it's just the Apple website, but to make it easy, I'll leave the link below for you to go get it. It depends on when you're seeing this video. It could be out by the time you see it, but I'll leave the link below to shop it no matter what. So yeah, those are my thoughts, at least my first impression thoughts. Again, I've only had this computer for a few days, so I want to come back and do like a 30 days with my new MacBook Air with an M4 chip. I want to do something like that to give you guys more insight, but from what I've experienced so far, that is pretty much as I can give you. One thing I would share with any of you guys who are video creators or content creators, if you are planning to edit content and use a MacBook Air as your primary computer, definitely make sure you get a hard drive and that you're working off of that. This is the one I use. This is from Samsung. It is the T7 Shield, and I don't put files on my laptop. In my mind, it slows my laptop down, but I like to work off a hard drive and keep my laptop as clean as possible. Also, when you're using one of these, it doesn't matter too much about how much storage you have available on your Mac. So you don't need a terabyte of storage if you're gonna be using one of these, is what I'm saying. You know, like 512 will definitely get you by. 256, depending on what you're doing, can get you by. So I would definitely invest in one of these if you are a creative and you're using your MacBook in that way, or any computer. I use these with my Pro as well. It's it's just nice to have all of my files in one place. So leaving that there. If you guys have any questions for me, leave them down below. Like I said, I will circle the block after spending a little bit more time with this, but so far so good. It's beautiful. It works really well. It's so lightweight and thin. It is a dream if you travel a lot. I've been loving taking my M4 Air, and like now we upgraded to the M4, so I'll be taking her around too. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.